Hello guys and welcome back. Today we are going to learn how to create our damage system, and let's start the video. Alright, so what we want to do is go to the BP ball pound in here, and then we want to create a function in here. Alright, so why do we need to create a function? You remember we created our BP healing bush in order to heal our ball, and in there we created the functionalities that we wanted to add our health. Alright, but if we want to create two types of healing bushes, all right, if we want to create another type of healing bush, we will need to copy all of this stuff, all right, copy all of this stuff and paste it into the other blueprint, and everything that we did here, we have to do it again and again in every type of healing bush that we create. All right, but we don't want that. All right, I want to show you another way that is much simpler if you wanted to create different types of bushes or things like that. So in this lecture we will use functions, all right, so that we can use them later in any type of things that they want to damage our ball. All right, so let's go to the BP ball pound and then click the plus sign in here in the functions and call it take damage. All right, take damage, and then compile and save. And in this take damage, what we want to do is we will call this function. All right, think of it like that. In another in another blueprint, we will call this function. All right, whenever our ball hits the cactus, we will call this function and we will give it a value. All right, and we will tell the ball take that much value as a damage to your ball. All right, so click the take damage function in here and create an input for it and call it damage value. All right, so you want to get a damage value and make sure make it float, and then compile and save. So after that, what we need to do is get our ball health in here. All right, get the ball health and then type minus. All right, and take that one down into here, connect them together, and then this time set the ball health, drag it into here and select set the ball health, and then connect those two, set it to this value. All right, and then after that, what we want to do, we want to create an output in order to, if we want to print it or things like that, we want to show our value. So just click the take damage in here and create an output parameter for it and call it new health. All right, so this will be the output. All right, so connect those two together and here we go. So compile and save. So what we did here, again, when our ball gets into, for example, the cactus, and the cactus will call this take damage function and it will give us a value to take damage of that value. So we can change the value in there. Right, so it will take our ball health and it will take the damage out of it and then set the ball health again and makes a new output for our function. So compile and then save, and let's get back to our map and then right click, select blueprint class, and then select an actor and then type BP cactus. All right, cactus. All right, so open it up and then add component. We want to add a static mesh. All right, and in the static mesh, let's name it a cactus. All right, and after that, in the static mesh, we want to select our cactus. Let's see which one we want to use. All right, let's go to our meshes and see, maybe cactus. I think that one looks good. Yeah, that one looks good. We will use cactus 5. All right, okay, so go to our cactus again, BP cactus, and then type cactus. All right, and select cactus 5. Right, so after that, let's create a box collision around it, and remember to take it up, and I think, yeah, I think that is good. But if you see, I think because our cactuses in here are so small, I think that will be small as well. So let's right now let's make sure that this is not, the box is not a child of the cactus. So take the box and put it under the default scene root and attach it. All right, right now they are not child and parents. All right, select the cactus and scale it up maybe 1.5 on every side, or maybe 2. Let's go with 2. All right, and make sure to make the box collision to be 2 as well. Maybe 2 will work. Actually, maybe not 2 in every side. All right, let's make sure that this has been dragged up. Well, I think we can shrink it down a little bit. All right, shrink this down like that, and shrink this down like that as well. Yeah, I think like this it will be much better. Right, we can also move it up a little bit to make it fit. Actually, it does not matter that much. All right, this is enough. So compile and then save, and after that let's go to the event graph and create our functions. Alright, so in here in the event actor begin overlap, right? So it says every time the ball gets into that box collision, right? We did this the same with the coin, right? So every time the ball will enter that box collision, we want to fire something. What do you want to fire? First of all, we want to check that if it is the ball. All right, so we want to cast it to BP ball pound. All right, so if it is a ball, then what we want to do, we want to, as the BP ball pound, we want to call that function that we just created on the ball. All right, we want to call take damage function. All right, call the function take damage function, right? The function that we just created in here, right? Take damage. And by the way, if you created a function like this and you did not know where you created that function, you can always double click it and it will open in its blueprint. All right, so double click and you see that it has been opened in the BP ball pound and it's a function in there. All right, so we want to call the take damage function, and how much damage do you want to take every time you hit the cactus? Maybe 15 is alright, and maybe we could change it later. All right, after we take the damage, we will get our new health and we will want to print our new health. All right, print string, and then we will want to see how many health we've got right now. So whenever the ball gets into the box collision, we want to take damage from that ball, and we will print a string to see how much health does it have right now. All right, so compile and then save, and let's go to, where is it? Yeah, let's go to, in the rollball folder, go to the blueprints folder in there and put that BP cactus into here. Maybe right now it looks a little bit big, I don't know. Let's test it out. Right, then play it, and you see on the left top corner, you see that every time we get into the cactus, our health decreases. All right, and if we hit it from this side, it's not working because we are not entering the box collision. We want to make sure that we solve this problem. All right, so let's see what is the problem. So what else do you want to do is whenever we bump into that cactus, we want to be we want our ball to get an impulse and be forced backward. All right, we want our ball to every time we hit it, it will be forced backward. All right, so let's do that. Stop it and go to the BP cactus again, and after that go to the event graph. What we want to do is in here as the BP ball pound. All right, what we want to do is drag it and call add impulse. All right, add impulse to the sphere. Right, so drag that down and put it next to there, and And how much impulse do you want to add? Actually, we only want to add the impulse on the backward direction, so the ball goes into the reverse direction. All right, so how we do that? All right, we will get our we will get our BP ball pound and call get forward vector. All right, get forward vector of the arrow. This is the best one that we can choose. We can choose the others as well. All of them are pointing to the same direction, but the arrow is much better because it's always pointing forward, and we'll make our ball to point to the arrow. So just choose the arrow in here, and then after that, what we want to do is, right now it's getting the forward vector, so what we want to do is multiply it by a minus number, right, so that it gets its reverse value. All right, so how we do that? We will drag that one and type multiply, and after that we've got a multiply by an integer, right? And how much do you want to multiply it by? Maybe something like -500, so that it gives a little bit of force, and then put it into impulse. All right, so let's test it out. Let's see if that works. All right, so compile and then save and go to our map again, and oh, it's not working. Is it working? I don't know why it's not working. Oh, we did not check that velocity change value. All right, just tick that one. All right, tick the velocity change value. It makes sure that it ignores the mass and everything and adds the force to the ball. So compile and then save, and then let's test that out again. And yes, this time when we go into it, and it makes sure that it will put a force onto us. All right, so if we move, and yes, it will put a force onto us. And something else that we did not do, make sure that you go to the cactus 5, the cactus that we used in here. Make sure to open it and go to our collision system. In the simple collision, make sure that you delete that collision as well. All right, that was the reason that it did not work so properly. And let's test it out, and right now we are able to get into the cactus, and I do not like it. So maybe what we should do is, instead of having the default collision system that we deleted right now, we can create one by ourselves. All right, we don't want to be able to get into our cactus. You see, we sometimes can go through it. We don't want that. So what we want to do is go to our cactus again, and then in here in the collision, right, add capsule simplified collision. All right, add that one, and then hit R key on your keyboard and make it a little bit smaller. I think, let me make it, I think this looks pretty much nice. I think that is nice. Maybe just move it a little bit, a little bit more to that side. No, take it back. Yeah, I think that is good. All right, so save it and then go to our map, and let's test it out again and see if we can go through it. No, you see, right now we are not able to go through it, and it always pushes us backward. All right, it is working just fine, and we cannot go through it, and it is pushing us back from going into it. All right, so yeah, that's it. And another thing that we want to add before we will wrap up this video is, add a little bit of motion to our cactus, so that whenever we hit it, it will be like, it will be like visible that we have hit it. All right, so let's just add a little bit of motion to it and see if it gives it a better look. All right, so go to our BP cactus again, and then let me grab those and take them down a little bit, and add impulse, get out of here, and the print string, let it stay. Alright, so after the print string, what we want to do is get our cactus in here, and then what we want to do is grab it and call move to function. Alright, move component to, not the AI move to, just the move component to function in here. Alright, select that one and connect those together. Alright, move and move, and after that, alright, and where do you want to move that cactus into? So we want to, just be able to move it down a little bit and rotate it around itself. So in here, in the target relative location, make sure to type something like -15 maybe, and in the target relative rotation, rotate it by 8 degrees, right? So that will move our cactus down and rotate it around itself. And after it's moves down, we want it to get back up. So after the add impulse, what we want to do is get our cactus again and then call move to, right, move component to function again, and 0 0 0 is just fine, so it will get back to its default place, and then connect those as well. Let's compile and then save and see if that works. All right, yeah, so you see that every time we hit the cactus, it gets down and rotates around itself. All right, and then our damage system is working as well. As you can see by the top left corner, it's being 8, -7, and -22. It's going down. But actually, let's change something else as well, right? Let's get to the BP cactus in here and see where did we call that take damage function. All right, so in here, let me grab those and take them a little bit further, and then in the print string and also the take damage, take them to this side as well. What we want to change is the damage value. You see that every time it damages 15 of our health, so we want to make this one a random number. All right, and then type random, so we will use the random float in range. All right, so that we can give it a minimum value and a maximum value, and it will get a random value and it will take our damage from that value. All right, so the minimum value must be something like 10 and the maximum value will be 25. I think that one would give our game a little bit more life. So you see that sometimes it's giving it a little bit different values. All right, so you see it's being 40 points and it's also giving point values, and I think it's nice. Why not? So yeah guys, we did it again. We created our health system and we created our damage system, and what else do we want to do? We will do them later. All right, so guys, as always, see you in the next video.